It was a hot Friday afternoon in Cedar Springs, a small American town where everyone knew everyone's business, except today. Mark Dalton, a 38-year-old construction supervisor, had wrapped up work earlier than expected. The company had to shut down the site due to a sudden equipment failure, and while most guys headed to the bar, Mark decided to go home. He'd been feeling worn down lately, and a quiet afternoon with his wife, Anna, sounded perfect. Driving through the familiar streets, Mark noticed how calm everything seemed. Kids were riding bikes, a neighbor was mowing his lawn, and the sun cast long, gentle shadows across the sidewalks. He felt a rare peace, the kind that made him smile without realizing. As he pulled into his driveway, he saw Anna's car parked exactly where it always was. Nothing unusual, yet something felt off. Maybe it was the silence. Anna always played music when she was home. Mark stepped out of his truck, grabbed his lunch cooler, and walked toward the front door. It was unlocked. Strange, Anna never left it open. Still, he shrugged it off. Maybe she'd gone to get the mail. The house felt cool, the air conditioner humming steadily. He kicked off his dusty boots and called out, "Anna, I'm home early," but there was no answer. He walked into the living room. Everything looked normal, too normal. Anna was the kind of woman who always left a blanket half folded or a cup of tea on the table. But today, the room was spotless. Mark's stomach tightened. He didn't know why, but the silence felt heavy, like the house itself was holding a breath. He moved toward the hallway, listening carefully. That's when he heard it, a soft thud from the bedroom. His heart skipped. It wasn't loud, not alarming, but it was definitely something. Mark's footsteps slowed as he approached the door. He placed his hand on the knob. For a moment he hesitated, wondering if he was overthinking, but something inside him whispered, "Open it." Just before he pushed the door, a memory flashed in his mind. Anna laughing in the kitchen 2 nights ago, telling him she'd be working from home today because she needed peace and quiet. Mark took a slow breath, turned the knob, and stepped inside. The room was dim. The curtains were half closed, letting only a slice of sunlight fall across the floor. At first glance, nothing seemed out of place. But within seconds, Mark noticed the details that didn't belong. The pile of papers scattered on the bed, Anna's laptop open but turned away, and a faint smell in the air, like someone had been rushing. His eyes scanned the room again, more carefully this time, and finally he saw it. Someone was hiding behind the slightly open closet door, a shadow, a shape that didn't belong. Mark froze, every muscle in his body locked in place. He wasn't prepared for what he was about to discover, and whatever waited behind that door was about to change everything. Mark's breath grew shallow as he stared at the half-open closet door. The shadow behind it didn't move, but it was unmistakably human. For a moment, he wondered if he was dreaming, if maybe the long workweek had finally got to him. But no, this was real, too real. He took one slow step forward. "Anna," he called again, trying to keep his voice steady. Still no answer. His pulse hammered in his ears. The silence felt heavier than before, pressing against him like a weight. With trembling fingers, he pushed the closet door open. His jaw dropped. Standing inside the closet wasn't a stranger but his wife. Anna, her face red, her hands shaking, and her eyes filled with panic. She wasn't hiding from him. She was hiding with something. Against her chest, wrapped tightly in a gray towel, was a baby, no more than a few weeks old. Mark stumbled back, shocked beyond words. "Anna, what is this? Whose baby is that?" Tears streamed down her face. She held the baby closer, as though protecting it from some unseen threat. "Mark, please, I can explain," she whispered, her voice breaking. Explain? How could anyone explain this? Mark's head spun as he tried to make sense of what he was seeing. Anna had never mentioned a child. No family member had recently had a baby. Nothing about this made sense. His heart pounded as he stepped away from the closet, running a shaky hand through his hair. Anna slowly stepped out, her legs trembling. The baby whimpered and Anna soothed it gently. That tiny sound hit Mark hard. This wasn't some prank or misunderstanding. This was serious. "Start talking," Mark finally said, his voice low and rough. "Right now." Anna sank onto the edge of the bed, clutching the baby protectively. "I didn't know how to tell you," she began, "and I didn't want you to come home and find out like this." Mark clenched his jaw. "Find out what like this?" Anna wiped her tears. "2 nights ago, after you fell asleep, someone knocked on the door. A woman. She was terrified, running from someone. She begged me for help. She said someone was after her and that her baby wasn't safe." Mark frowned. "Where is she now?" Anna swallowed hard. "Yesterday morning, I found a note on the porch. It said she couldn't risk staying here and she left the baby in my care. She said she trusted me. She said I was the only safe person she'd met." Mark stared at her, stunned. His mind raced. If this story was true, then someone dangerous could be looking for this child. And if they knew the woman came to this house. His heart dropped. "This is insane," he whispered. "Anna, we need to call the police." Anna shook her head instantly. "No, Mark, you didn't see her. She was bruised, terrified. Whoever she was running from wasn't someone the police could protect her from. She begged me not to involve them." Mark paced back and forth, torn between fear, anger, and confusion. This wasn't the secret he'd expected. This wasn't betrayal, it was something far more complicated. He stopped and looked at Anna again. "What aren't you telling me?" he asked softly. Anna's lips trembled as she whispered. "Mark, they followed her here." Mark felt the floor shift beneath him. "They followed her here." Those 4 words hit him like a punch to the gut. Suddenly, every odd detail from the moment he walked in, the silence, the spotless living room, the unlocked door, clicked into place. This wasn't just a strange situation, it was dangerous. "Anna, what do you mean they followed her?" Mark asked, his voice tight. Anna held the baby closer. "Last night someone was outside. I heard footsteps, whispers, and when I looked through the curtain, a black SUV was parked across the street with its lights off. They were watching the house, Mark." Mark's heart pounded like a drum. His instincts kicked in, the same instincts that kept him safe in rough construction zones and late-night emergencies. He rushed to the window. The street looked calm, but now he noticed the details he missed before. A car he didn't recognize, parked too perfectly, windows too dark. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked, struggling to keep his voice from rising. "I was scared," Anna cried. "I didn't want you to get hurt. I thought maybe they'd go away if they didn't see the baby. But then you came home early and—" A sudden noise at the front door cut her off. A slow, deliberate knock. Mark froze, his eyes shot toward the hallway. The knock came again, 3 times, firm and unsettling. Whoever was outside wasn't a neighbor. They weren't delivering a package. They were making a statement. Anna's breathing quickened. The baby whimpered softly. Mark stepped toward the door, but halfway there he stopped. He wasn't armed. He had no idea who or how many were outside. He turned back to Anna. "Take the baby and stay in the bathroom. Lock the door. Don't come out unless I tell you." Anna nodded, tears streaking down her face. She hurried down the hallway as quietly as she could. Mark approached the door slowly, his hand hovering over the knob. He listened. He could hear someone breathing on the other side. Calm, confident, waiting. "What do you want?" Mark called out. A voice replied, deep, cold, and unsettlingly calm. "We're here for the child." Mark's chest tightened, every muscle tensed. He looked back toward the hallway where Anna was hiding with the baby. Then, with a steady breath and a courage he didn't know he had, he answered through clenched teeth. "You're not getting anything from this house."